I just hope him saying allegedly that he doesn't want to be with the Rockets now affect his professionalism in doing his job, which is then going to start costing him money, and it's going to start costing him fans. I don't want that to happen for him. I believe that each of these things are actually isolated, Jacoby. If you think about it, the season just ended, they were in the bubble. Each time when they were about to go in the bubble, people was like, we about to go do a bid. When you saw the NBA come out with those rules and restrictions about COVID, of what they can't do.
I think he broke a couple.
For me, he was like, I'm about to get it in right now. Little baby's birthday, he came with a duffel bag, gave him a couple of $100,000. You know what I'm saying? And he had to get back to the community. You know, during this time, you know, you got to take care of the
Service
people.
employees need to be taken care of.
Absolutely. Essential workers. Well, you know, James Harden going to get his number retired at a couple of strip clubs in Houston before he leaves.
They scheduled an individual workout just for him. That means an assistant coach was there, maybe, you know, some ball boys were there, and they're sitting there waiting, looking at the door, waiting for James Harden to walk through it, and he did not walk through it. I think this is something that will be covered heavily in the next couple of days, and you will always see the updates here on Jalen and Jacoby. We also have this, a quarterback controversy in Philadelphia, and the Patriots beat the Chargers 45-0. So much to discuss. Make sure you stay tuned. You're watching Jalen and Jacoby Seaport, and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, the Packers beat the Eagles by 2 touchdowns. Look like a Super Bowl contender, so you'd think we would be speaking about them, but we're not, because Carson Wentz was put on the bench and Jalen Hurts was put in and looked okay. Jalen, what do you think about the brewing controversy in Philadelphia, the quarterback position?
All I know is when Hurts threw that bomb to Rieger, Jalen's across the world rejoiced. That was just a beautiful moment in NFL history. Connection.
Good point.
No question about it. And so Carson Wentz, he struggled, and that's, you know, something we've seen with him taking sacks, throwing interceptions. They needed a change at the position, especially when you look across the field and the other guys, Aaron Rodgers, who just threw his 400th touchdown, and he got Adams, and he got Jones, and they're out there balling. This is the week he's like, you know what? You ain't there yet. We're going to sit you down. And we're going to put our second-round pick in there who, like you, I agree. He showed some flashes of what he could do as a starter, but I just believe that Doug Peterson is going to look at his team and analyze the entire body of work, and Carson Wentz is going to be Philadelphia's starting quarterback next week, in my opinion, if no other reason but for the money. But for the money. Because they got to pay him a lot of money, Jacoby, over the next year or so. And with that big deal, you don't want to isolate him right now. You don't want to mess up his value right now more than he has. But you know what else you don't want him to do? You don't want him to get hurt, Jacoby. You don't want him to get hurt. So you're going to put Jalen Hurts out there, let him take some of those snaps, let him get some of the third down plays, some of that goal line action. But I still believe Carson Wentz is going to be their starting quarterback.
Yeah, I think we should pump the brakes a little bit on Jalen Hurts' performance. He didn't lead them to a victory. He had that nice pass, Jalen to Jalen connection, but he was 5 for 12. He was 5 for 12 in the game. So I do believe that Carson Wentz remains the starter in Philly, but I also don't believe they will end up in the playoffs as the Giants have put themselves in pole position in the NFC East. Moving on to another game with a very surprising result. Not just who won, but how they won. The Patriots won 45-0. 45-0. What did you think about this performance from the Pats?
I think I like that. I only seen it a couple of times yesterday. You know how I feel about special teams touchdown. You know how I feel about special teams touchdown. You see that, Jacoby? Blocking the field goal, going the other way. McCarty, look at him, getting out there. Ain't nobody catching me. Running fast like he's still in the backyard trying to fall in love with the game. But here, in all honesty, Anthony Lynn, 3-2-1, the time is ticking for his job with the Chargers. They have something special at the quarterback position. They've had a lot of injuries with that team, but when you've lost so many close games, and then all of a sudden it seems like your team let go of the rope, and then you get waxed like this, it's going to definitely, in my opinion, cost him his job at some point.
The Patriots scored 45 points. Cam Newton, the starting quarterback, threw for 69 yards. 69 yards. Cam Newton threw for 69 yards and 1 touchdown. Jarrett Stidham came in and threw for 61 yards and 1 touchdown. That is just exemplary of how the Patriots approach the offense. They're running Cam. They run the running backs. They got a bunch of them, and that's what they do on offense, and the Chargers were ill-prepared to deal with it. Another interesting quarterback performance from Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill showed this week what Sean Payton has been telling us he's going to do the past 3 weeks. He played really well, 27 for 37, 232 yards, looked like a legitimate quarterback, not a gimmick this week. What do you think about Taysom's performance?
I think while we get caught up in ring counting so very much and we start giving people names like quarterback whisperers and geniuses, people got to start making sure they put some respect on Sean Payton's name. Because it seems like whoever's under center, to be honest, he's going to find a way to have them be productive. And you're right about Taysom Hill. In his first start, it didn't look like he was going to be that guy that came out throwing rockets outside the numbers like he was doing in this game. And also, along with health, because Michael Thomas has been playing these last couple of games, he's clearly getting a level of productivity from him that just wasn't happening earlier in the year for obvious reasons due to injury and just being in and out of the lineup. So if and when Drew Brees returns week 14, and by the way, but hearing his injuries, I'm like, he gonna be back when?
Collapsed
I'm like, that
lungs.
sounds like he needs a little more time.
Doesn't he need your lungs?
Yeah, what else did he have? Yeah, I'm like, whoa, he needs a little more time. I want to make sure I get on the phone with Drew Brees if I need to and tell the OG just to chill a couple of more weeks. We don't need you to come back week 14, dog.
We need you.
He need people in his life to tell him, no, dog.
Exactly.
No, dog.
Jalen.
You can come back and play the first half of the final game and then get ready to the playoffs.
Jalen, the Lions were down 10 with under 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. What happened next, Jalen Rose? What happened next, Jalen Anthony Rose?
You know, I was watching the game, and you know what I was trying to do? I was trying to convert my daughter Gracie, who's 14, to be a Lions fan. Now, she grew up in Georgia, but the game was on, Jacoby. I was cooking. I was making thighs and drumsticks and barbecue ribs, you know? So it was just like bonding, you know? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, you see them Lions out there? What you think of those uniforms? What do you think of that squad right there? And you know, after all of this, they came back to win. Had 2 touchdowns late. I was so happy, had a couple of sangrias, but her answer was, I'm not going to be able to do it.